especially when it comes to eye makeup. The smaller the brush, the better it is to get more precise and clean placements. This lack of product in the middle, low-key, makes it look like a nipple. Let's just see how this will apply. I'm so... not me shutting up. Lock in a little bit. Okay. $13 retail price for 5 brushes. It's kind of half expecting maybe like an English sticker over it, but there's none and it's all in Korean. What is your brand about? Really? This was made with like makeup users in mind. Studio 17, I was not aware of your game. So recently, Studio 17 reached out to me saying they would like to send a couple of makeup tools my way, and not obliged to make a review either, not sponsored. So this is just for me to try and test out, which I'm like, okay, cool, I want to try these out. So they did send me a couple of eye brushes. I believe this is like the travel set. They sent me like a flat foundation brush, which this one looks promising. This like dual-ended blush, which is like, this is interesting. I've never seen a K-beauty brand do a blush tool like this, so very cool. And this is something that I've always wanted to try, like that, you know, cotton, marshmallow looking big puffs like this. Yeah, I want to try this. I'm super curious about this. And also a solid sponge cleaner, which I don't think I will be using this today because I'm not going to clean my brushes. But it smells like soap. Like clean tea soap. So for today's eye makeup, we're using the eye makeup brush set over here. This is how it looks like. You get 5 brushes and all of the bristles feel pretty soft, fluffy, definitely synthetic, and only one of these brushes are actually dual-ended. So it's this one over here. This is their dual eyebrow brush. You get a spoolie as well as an angled flat brush over here. So all of the handles over here has a name printed on it, so that's why you know like each purpose of the brush. So you get a eyeshadow brush, a defining brush, blending brush, and a smudge brush. So you have all this here. Today's eyeshadow palette that we're using is from CanMake. This is the Petite Palette Eye in number 3. I'll take this light pinky white shade on the eyeshadow brush. This is like the all over sweeper brush. One thing I noticed is that this brush, right, is pretty wide in nature, so it does cover quite a bit of surface area. Nothing is really like poking my eye or whatever, so it feels pretty smooth as well. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna take the blending brush. This is kind of like a bullet brush, and I will want to deepen the outer crease over here, so maybe I will go in with this pinky shade over here. Connect off excess. I mean, the application of this is pretty smooth. Everything is going on really smoothly and it's working really nicely. I mean, the blend of this looking good, and also it tucks pretty nicely onto the outer V over here. Do I wish that the point of this was a little bit more tapered so I can get a bit more of that pinpoint accuracy when I blend? A little bit, yes, because based off my experience with other brushes, I do feel that this one does feel a little bit too bulbous, but it's doing the job well enough. I mean, look, my eyeshadow so far is looking pretty smooth. It's not looking like patchy or splotchy, and everything is blending well, so it's definitely getting the job done. Now, I do want to add like a brighter shimmer like in my inner corner of my eye, like this part to the middle part here. And normally what I would do is actually use my finger to get the most like high impact. But just for today's video, because I do want to try using the brushes as well, maybe, I'm thinking of using this as like from here to here, and then this like champagne white. Ooh, that looks so wet, like in the inner corner, like right here. So I'm gonna take the same eyeshadow brush. Maybe I'll take the other side that wasn't used to like dip into the earlier upper shade over here. And I'm just going to tap it in here. And I'm going to knock off the excess again. I have a feeling there might be a bit of like shimmer fallout underneath my eye, but I don't think that's on the brush at that point. It's like more on the application. Ooh, that's pretty. One thing I like about this eyeshadow brush is that it's pretty wide. So it hugs the curvature of my eye socket, like this part, like very easily. I can bring it up pretty nicely. And it covers up like a pretty decent area. I'm going to use a bit of MAC Fix Plus and just dampen the brush a little bit so I can just pick up a bit more of the product and make it a little bit more metallic. Ooh. Oh, definitely it looks a lot more foiled. And the brush itself, really, it just lays down the product so nicely. Okay, not bad. I wonder how much this is though, like for real. Wait, let me check. I'm checking the Olive Young Global's website right now. So this exact eye makeup brush is 13 US dollars retail price for 5 brushes. That's not too bad. Actually, I really like this eyeshadow brush. Honestly, I was like, oh okay, I wonder if they sell this individually, because I was like, buy a couple more of this if I'm like building up my makeup artist set, because this is actually pretty good. Like wow. And right now there's a sale. Instead of 13 US dollars for 5 brushes, it's now 10.98 US dollars. I don't want to be that beauty influencer being like, oh my god, this is so amazing, you know, kind of thing. But this is really not bad. I mean, based on my first impressions, I've yet to like wash this brush, you know, really to see whether the bristles will spray and all that. I mean, so far based off like my impression of this, right, you definitely can tell it's like a more affordable brush. But I like the fact that the handles don't feel like floaty or light, because some makeup brushes I've used in the past where obviously it's like more affordable, the handles themselves feel pretty light, and it's made of plastic sometimes, so it feels like you don't really have that nice weight to it when you start to work the brush on your skin. So this one I feel there's like a little bit of weight, not say like heavy weight as nice as maybe like a Sigma brush, but this is actually pretty good. And I just realized the shape of it is like tapered, so it's like pretty comfortable to hold. Okay, Studio 17. I see you. Now for the inner corner highlight, I'm gonna take this. I'm just gonna pop it in my inner corner, like right over here, like focusing it right here. Yeah, and then I bring it up. Ew, this is... the Can Make Petite Eyeshadow Palette. It's a pretty underrated shadow palette, to be honest. I know it's getting a bit of hype over on TikTok right now, especially number 1, I think Plume Flower, if I'm not wrong, because that one is being used by one of Twice's makeup artists. But yeah, this is actually not too bad. Ooh, okay. Just gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. The mascara that I've been using recently and loving a lot is actually from Majorica. This one over here is a Dolly Wink Lash. This is a limited edition color. It's in navy blue. But honestly, when it dries down, it doesn't look like navy blue at all. But I mean, it's a pretty good formula though. This is the Lash Expander Dolly Curl. The brush looks like this, which sometimes I still struggle like catching on my lashes. But I love the formula of this because it really does like separate my lashes so nicely. And surprisingly enough, the formula is a little bit more wet than usual, which I was a bit like, this is not something I would usually go for. I prefer my mascaras to be a bit more on the drier side of things. The way my lashes stay uplifted and it still looks so like manga-like. I love it. And look at that. And it stays like that throughout the entire day. Oh, so good. No flaking, no smudging either. I'm gonna do my under eye corrector, the Fenty Beauty one. This one I use is in Melon. It's my standard under eye corrector. So this is the foundation I'll be using, the Aespa B Velvet Foundation. This one is in the shade 21 and Neutral Petal. So I'm just gonna squeeze like a bit of it. Back of my hand. It's not a very runny foundation either. So yeah, it just like stays there and blend it out. It looks something like this. So it's a bit bright for me. We're going to use the Studio 17 foundation brush 823, and it's the flat foundation brush. And I'm just going to take some over here on the back of my hand over here. Let's see if this actually works out. No, I don't think. Now I do think for that foundation brush to kind of work, I'm going to take some onto skin here. And then I'm just going to spread it out like this. Because originally when I took it on the back of my hand and just like saturate the brush with it, right, it didn't look good, girl. It didn't look good at all. So I had to take some product and put it onto the skin and then like slowly blend it out with the flat brush. It looks pretty good. Okay, now it looks alright. One thing I am going to try though is using this type of like spatula tool. And maybe this is kind of like drying down already on the back of my hand. It dries down pretty fast. So I'm just going to take a bit of the product here And then I'm just going to spread it onto my skin like this for the thinnest layers. Okay, and then we're just going to slowly brush it out like that. When I do use the spatula tool to spread the product onto my skin, I feel like that's like the cleanest it has been looking. So you can see this side is with the spatula. This is just using finger, just like slapping it on. I mean, it still looks good, but I personally do feel like this looks the neatest between this side and this side. Honestly, it's a little bit hard for me to comment on the flat top brush because I don't really own this type of brush for foundations. I think I did own one, or like my mom owned one, like way back in like 2012 or 14. I don't think I own it anymore, I'm not too sure, but I just never use a flat top brush like this because usually I'm more of like a cushion girly, so this is, I know how to use it, it's just that it's not my preferred tool most of the times because of how busy my mornings are. And to really like sit down and like, okay, we're gonna like do the foundation and like sweep it on, you know, that kind of thing. It's a bit, you know, tedious. I don't have the brain power to do this in the morning. But I think this brush really complements the Espoir foundation really well. Oh my god, you can see I'm whitewashed at this point. We will warm this up later on with a bit of contour and a blush and everything, because if not, right now I'm looking pale. I don't think it's the tool fault, but more of the foundation thing, because I still can see a bit of my redness like peeking through quite a bit. I mean, the brush really spreaded out everything really nicely. It doesn't really look patchy either. I don't know, there's something about this Espoir foundation that I'm not like super in love with, because I just can see all of like my, you know, acne scars and marks peeking through, and I can tell that this is supposed to be a very like high coverage foundation. But when I apply in thin layers, you can still see all the scars and marks. So it looks pretty alright. Maybe just like for this part over here. Still, I don't know. It's not as super in love as compared to the cushion version of this. Go with one more layer, just to kind of touch up a little bit, and we see how this works out. One thing is that this foundation dries like really fast as well, so you gotta work quick, or if not, work in sections. I think for this foundation to really shine, you have to do 2 layers, because once the second layer is on, it looks super like clean and neat and like the desired effect. If not, 1 layer alone by itself is like a neither here nor there situation where you can tell that your skin is like brightened, but you can still see the marks below it, so it looks not super like clean. But the point of this like foundation is supposed to make it look like clean, neat, high coverage. So for the marks to kind of show through, it doesn't look the best, I will say. So this is more of like a finicky foundation, I feel. Since there wasn't a powder brush provided, I'm just going to use my own, and finishing up the Laura Mercier powder, I took out the sieve because I just wanted everything. I'm going to set only the outer perimeters of my face, because for the inner perimeters of my face, I'm going to use those type of like souffle blushes for this part. Oh no, we didn't use the Pang Pang Big Puff over here. That's what it's literally called. Let me know if you guys want to see a video on this next time. I guess we're not using it today because honestly, the flat top brush actually did a pretty good job at blending everything out. It looks pretty even so far, at least right now that I'm looking at it. So for blush, we're going to use this tool over here. This is their silicone duo blush brush over here. I first saw this, I was like, what's this supposed to be? Because I had no idea what I was going to get from them. And when I saw this, I was a bit confused. So this is literally like an enlarged version of a lip applicator, silicone one. You know, everyone is using one of these nowadays. Just for comparison, the size difference is kind of crazy. And then on the other end, you have this type of like dense blush brush over here. Low-key reminds me of more like a kabuki dense brush. We're gonna use the fwee blending cheek. Fwee Blurry pudding pot. Oh my god, my brain is not functioning. I was just very curious to see. It just fits, oh my god, just nice into this. Okay. Not bad. This is in the shade ND01, by the way. This is how it looks like. This lack of product in the middle, low-key, makes it look like a nipple. Okay. I'm gonna dab some excess on the back of my hand. Let's just see how this will apply. I'm so... Not me shutting up. Lock in a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna use this side now. I'm gonna blend it in a little bit. Okay, that looks much better. I was a bit concerned, not gonna lie. Just tapping it in like in stippling motions a little bit. It blended out really nicely. Okay. Studio 17, I was not aware of your game. Okay, I mean, I've heard about them before on TikTok, but it's not one of those like super viral brands. Maybe I'm playing devil's advocate like a little bit, because if not, why can't I just use, you know, my fingers and just like tap it in, right? And then I have 1 or 2 less tools to clean. But I do feel that the finish of this looks so much more cleaner and smoother. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of dual-ended brushes because usually I keep my brushes, you know, sitting upright. It's a very like awkward situation. I don't own many either. But this one having like a cap like this, and you can just easily like pull it out like that, it solves the issue a lot. So wow, I'm so impressed. Like really, this was made with like makeup users in mind. And then for the lip color itself, I feel like my makeup in general is looking very like pinky now. So I'm gonna use the Laka. Is it called the volumizing balloon something? This one is in boy, so it's a little bit more of a cool tone, mauvey purple. And I've been wearing this for the last week or so. Really nice. Ooh, ain't that a vibe? This color is really pretty. Oh my gosh. A lot of y'all were asking me for comparisons between this Ash Nut as well as Max Alone Time. So that video should be hopefully coming soon. But this is how boy looks like on my face. And ooh, I love the vibe of it. I do feel that today's makeup is a bit more vibrant. Not so like toned down, but this is a really like good toned down lip. I'm just gonna go and grab another lippy that's a little bit brighter. There's the Inkbook Glowy Tint in number 22. Let's just add it like right here. Is it working? A little bit. We're just gonna try out the smudge brush from Studio 17 as well as the defining brush as well, because these two brushes were the brushes that I didn't really get a chance to use. So I'm gonna take this shade over here on the smudge brush, and I'm just gonna run it on the lower lash lines a little bit. I used to not be a big fan of doing lower lash makeup because sometimes I feel like it just like kind of makes my eyes puffy, swollen, and closed up. But nowadays I kind of vibe with it. I'm gonna go into the defining brush over here. This brush is super tiny and super small. I don't know which shade to go in though. Like I do want to add a bit more definition to the lower lash lines, so maybe let's go in with the dark pinker shade over here. I'm gonna run it like as close as possible. Ooh, I like this brush. This brush is really small and detailed. You can really like get in there. Such a subtle addition. I do feel like it does make quite a bit of a difference to just make the eyeshadow look complete. And especially for lower lash makeup, it's important that your eye brushes that you use is small and detailed, because if it's too big, you can't really get in there and be as precise as you like to be. So wow, I'm very impressed with the eye brushes. I'm back, my hair done, and this is the final makeup look over here. It's giving sweet girl, truly. I rarely do pinky kind of eyeshadow looks, so today is a little bit of a switch up for sure. And I must say that for Studio 17, their brushes, their makeup tools, I'm pretty impressed with whatever I tried today. Unfortunately, I'm not able to try out the cushion, this puff over here, as well as the makeup cleaner, but I will keep you guys posted on that. I will say that these two stood out to me the most. The eye makeup brushes over here, I feel it's quite worth the money for retail price of $13 US. Now for the foundation brush, I feel like I need more playtime with this because this is my first ever like flat brush like this. So yeah, I just feel like I need more time to play with this to really get a good grasp of how much I like this. The dual silicone blush brush over here, I think this was probably the most innovative tool that I've come across in a while. because normally, I mean, with potted lip products, as I mentioned, normally you just use your fingers and you just tap it in. But I do feel that sometimes when you do that, the product can be a little bit splotchy. Example, if your foundation and this particular product don't like mesh well in a sense, then sometimes you can like lift the foundation underneath it while you're trying to blend the cheek product. So it gives you that splotchy look. I think my blush today looks really well blended for a potted lip and cheek product. And I also do like this brush over here, because I was wondering like, why is the brush so dense in a sense? Only when I started like using it, then I'm like, okay, it makes sense for me to like flip over and try to like blend it out right now. Because honestly, I was so prepared to like use another like powdered blush to kind of like tap it on. But if this is like the intention of the product, then maybe, yeah, it worked out pretty well. And I also like the fact that you can just like, you know, do this and then you try and cap it on. This is great for travel, and it makes sense that they added a cap to it. So this is probably my most positive experience for this particular product. There is one thing I wish Studio 17 will improve on in terms of like packaging. So I didn't show this, but this is example the, I think, eye makeup brush set. Yeah, this one. So the eye brushes are supposed to come inside, right? And at the back of it is the text. Now I was kind of half expecting maybe like an English sticker over it, but there's none, and it's all in Korean. So it's a little bit hard for me to like, what is your brand about, and what are the eye brushes over here, what's the purpose of it. Granted, I know like the directions of it is like, number 1, apply brush to skin with eyeshadow powder on it. And I know it's generic, but at the same time it's like, what am I looking at over here, because I don't know what all of this mean. I mean, look. Nothing is in English at all. So I understand that, maybe Studio 7 is trying to sell to a more international market, get a bit more of the international awareness. So I think it's like the small details like that does matter. And I know it's a very first world problem. They probably, could just go online OLIVEYOUNG and see. It's literally on the OLIVEYOUNG global website. Everything's in English. So that's one thing I want to point out. And yeah, generally, very good experience with the brushes. I am very happy with the quality of it. So yeah, let me know, have you guys tried out Studio 17 before? And also thank you to Studio 17 for sending this my way. No shade, no tea, no nothing. This is just my honest thoughts and opinion. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video, which you can click over here.